In our previous episode, we traced the history of Zimbabwe, a nation that has been through the ringer, a land marked by colonial scars and political upheaval. As we delve deeper into Zimbabwe's timeline, we find ourselves in the year 2006, on the cusp of a discovery that would forever change the trajectory of this nation. The story unfolds in Chiadzwa, a quiet, unassuming town near Mutare, a place where the whispers of the wind carried tales of a time when life was simpler, when the biggest worry was the coming of the next rain. The people of Chiadzwa, like the rest of Zimbabwe, had been through their fair share of trials and tribulations, but nothing could have prepared them for what was about to come. They say every cloud has a silver lining, but sometimes that lining can be deceptive. Sometimes it can be a harbinger of a storm that's about to strike. In Chiadzwa, that storm came in the form of a glittering promise, a promise buried deep within the bowels of the earth, a promise as alluring as it was deceptive. As we journey into the heart of Chiadzwa, we find ourselves on the precipice of a story that's as much about diamonds as it is about the human spirit. A story that proves that not all that glitters is gold. In the next episode, we'll dig deeper into this diamond rush that turned Chiadzwa from a tranquil town into a battleground. But for now, let's take a moment to remember the Chiadzwa that once was. A place of peace and tranquility. A place that held promise. A place that was about to be forever changed. In the heart of Zimbabwe, nestled near the eastern town of Mutare, lies Chiadzwa, an area that once promised wealth beyond measure. It's a place where the soil beneath your feet hides a secret as hard as a diamond and just as precious. This secret, however, is no fairy tale. It's a story steeped in blood and tears, a tale of a community caught in the crossfire of avarice and ambition. Chiadzwa, a land of rugged beauty, was once known for its peaceful tranquility. But in 2006, everything changed. The ground beneath Chiadzwa, it turned out, was brimming with diamonds. These weren't just any diamonds. These were the kind of diamonds that could turn the fortunes of a nation, diamonds that could dazzle the world with their brilliance. Almost overnight, Chiadzwa was transformed. The promise of diamonds, of wealth beyond measure, ignited a spark that quickly turned into a raging inferno. People from all corners of Zimbabwe and beyond were drawn to Chiadzwa like moths to a flame. The lure of instant wealth proved too irresistible. This should have been a time of celebration, a turning point for Zimbabwe's struggling economy. A once impoverished nation had suddenly found itself sitting on a treasure trove. The discovery of diamonds was supposed to be a beacon of hope, a promise of prosperity for a country that had seen more than its fair share of hardship. But alas, the promise was fleeting. The sparkle of the diamonds was soon overshadowed by the darkness that descended upon Chiadzwa. The story of Chiadzwa's diamonds is not one of prosperity and progress. It's a tale of greed, of suffering, of a community ripped apart by the very thing that was supposed to bring them together. The discovery of diamonds in Chiadzwa in 2006 should have been a turning point for Zimbabwe, a beacon of hope for its struggling economy. But what followed was far from a fairy tale. Word of the find spread quickly, drawing thousands from across Zimbabwe, all dreaming of diamonds. The lure of these precious stones, the promise of instant wealth, was too enticing to resist. From every corner of the country, people flocked to Chiadzwa, their eyes gleaming with the same fervor that made the diamonds in the earth sparkle. The once quiet and obscure region transformed almost overnight. Makeshift camps sprang up like mushrooms after a rainstorm. Tents, lean-tos, and rough huts dotted the landscape, a patchwork of human resilience and desperation. The air buzzed with anticipation as the diamond rush took hold of Chiadzwa. Men, women, even children traded the familiarity of their everyday lives for the grueling, backbreaking work of mining. Their hands, roughened by toil, sifted relentlessly through the earth, every speck of dirt holding the potential for a life-changing find. A diamond, the promise of a better future. Yet even as Chiadzwa hummed with the energy of this newfound prosperity, a shadow began to creep in. The glimmer of the diamonds began to cast long, dark shadows, hinting at the looming despair that was to come. The government, drawn by the irresistible allure of the diamonds, turned its gaze upon Chiadzwa. The promise of wealth was not just a dream for the miners, but a tantalizing opportunity for those in power. A fill coffers, to wield influence, to exert control. The glittering allure of the diamonds became a beacon, attracting not only those who sought a better life, but also those who sought to exploit the promise of wealth for their own gain. The dream of prosperity, the hope that had drawn thousands to Chiadzwa, began to sour. The diamond rush, once a beacon of hope, now held the seed of a looming nightmare, a stark reminder that every treasure has its price. But with the government's eyes on the prize, it wasn't long before Chiadzwa's dream turned into a nightmare. The government's response was brutal. Security forces were deployed, turning Chiadzwa into a battlefield. The whirlwind of diamond fever was swiftly met with a chilling winter of violence. The government, driven by hunger for control of the precious stones, unleashed a wave of terror on the hordes of miners who had flocked to Chiadzwa. In a place that was once a symbol of hope, darkness fell. The once bustling mining fields turned into a theater of human rights abuses. The government's security forces, under the guise of restoring order, brought chaos and bloodshed. Innocent miners who had come seeking their fortune found themselves at the mercy of the very people meant to protect them. Survivor accounts paint a gruesome picture of the ordeal. Men and women, young and old, were subjected to unimaginable horrors. They tell of brutal beatings, torture, and forced labor. Some even speak of the senseless killings that turned the once fertile soil of Chiadzwa red. The echoes of their cries still reverberate through the diamond fields. Human rights experts were quick to condemn the violence. Reports were sent to international bodies detailing the gross human rights violations. The world was horrified, but the situation in Chiadzwa persisted. The government, seemingly impervious to international pressure, continued its brutal campaign. The diamonds that were once a beacon of hope had turned into a symbol of suffering. The dreams of prosperity were replaced with nightmares of violence and despair. The fields of Chiadzwa, once a hub of bustling activity, now stood silent, save for the whispers of the wind carrying tales of the bloodshed. In the midst of this grim reality, the diamonds of Chiadzwa took on a new name. They were no longer just stones of beauty and wealth. They were now tainted, stained with the blood of those who had suffered in their pursuit. The diamonds of Chiadzwa had become blood diamonds. The cost of Chiadzwa's diamonds extends beyond human life. When we delve deeper into the repercussions of the diamond rush, we see a landscape forever scarred, a society uprooted, and an economy left in shambles. The environmental toll is staggering. Once a land of lush greenery, Chiadzwa has been transformed into a pockmarked terrain, stripped bare by the relentless quest for diamonds. Rivers, once teeming with life, are now choked with sediment and debris. The air is heavy with dust, a silent testament to the intensive mining activities that have left the ecosystem in ruins. The societal impact is equally disheartening. Families, who for generations called Chiadzwa home, were displaced, their ancestral land seized in the name of progress. Communities were torn apart, their way of life upended. The promise of diamonds, instead of fostering prosperity, only bred discord and despair. But what about the economic impact? Experts have weighed in, and the prognosis is far from rosy. Despite the influx of wealth from the diamond trade, Zimbabwe's economy has seen little benefit. Instead, the wealth has been siphoned off, disappearing into the pockets of a select few, leaving the majority to grapple with poverty and economic instability. The economic disparity is stark. While the diamond industry prospers, the people of Chiadzwa languish in the shadows of deprivation. Schools lack resources, hospitals are under-equipped, and basic services are a distant dream for many. The diamond rush, rather than bringing a wave of economic rejuvenation, has only deepened the chasm of inequality. To understand the true cost of Chiadzwa's diamonds, we must look beyond the gleam of the gems and the wealth they promise. We must acknowledge the devastation left in their wake, the ravaged lands, the shattered communities, and the economic disparity. The environment, torn asunder by unchecked mining, and the community, forever changed, paid a steep price. This is the true cost of Chiadzwa's diamonds, a cost too great for any gem to justify. Today, the struggle for Chiadzwa continues. The diamond fields, once a symbol of prosperity, now stand as a testament to a community's relentless pursuit for justice. The wounds of the past are still raw, the scars visible, but the spirit of the people remains unbroken. They stand united, fueled by the hope of reclaiming what was once theirs, their land, their rights, and their dignity. In the face of adversity, the community of Chiadzwa has shown remarkable resilience. They've organized themselves, forming groups that have refused to be silenced. These individuals, the true diamonds of Chiadzwa, have taken it upon themselves to fight for their rights, to ensure that their voices are heard and their plight acknowledged. Their struggle is not solitary. They've garnered support from across the globe. Activists, human rights organizations, and legal experts have joined the cause, lending their voices, their knowledge, and their resources to the fight. They've helped bring the Chiadzwa tragedy to the world stage, exposing the atrocities and demanding accountability. Legal battles have been waged both within Zimbabwe and on international platforms. Lawsuits have been filed against corporations and individuals implicated in the exploitation of Chiadzwa. These battles are long, often arduous, but they are necessary steps in the pursuit of justice. Every victory, no matter how small, is a step towards accountability. The community's efforts extend beyond the courtroom. They're fighting for a future where the wealth of their land benefits them. They're negotiating with the government and corporations for fairer distribution of revenue, for better living conditions, and for the restoration of their environment. Their fight is not just for justice, but for a sustainable future. The road ahead is long and fraught with challenges, but the people of Chiadzwa are determined. They've seen the worst and emerged stronger, more resolute. They are not just survivors, they are warriors. Activists, both local and international, fight for justice, accountability, and a future where the land's wealth benefits those who call it home. The story of Chiadzwa's diamonds is a cautionary tale of the true cost of greed. It's a tale that echoes far beyond the borders of Zimbabwe, a stark reminder of the lengths to which humanity will go in the pursuit of wealth. But it is not a story without hope. In the wake of the tragedy, a new chapter is being written in Chiadzwa. A chapter penned not by the relentless hand of greed, but by the steady hand of resilience and determination. It is the story of a community that, despite the odds, refuses to be silenced, refuses to be crushed under the weight of injustice. In the face of adversity, the people of Chiadzwa are standing tall. They are reclaiming their narrative, fighting for their rights, and demanding accountability. Their resilience is a beacon of hope, illuminating the path towards justice and change. Yet their fight is not theirs alone. From across the globe, voices are joining in solidarity. Human rights organizations, activists, and concerned citizens are adding their voices to the chorus, calling for justice, for transparency, for an end to the suffering. This is a testament to the indomitable spirit of humanity, a testament to our ability to rise from the ashes of despair and forge a brighter future. Chiadzwa's diamonds, once a symbol of avarice and suffering, are becoming a symbol of hope and resilience. They serve as a stark reminder of our collective responsibility to ensure that the wealth of the earth is shared equitably and not at the expense of human life. The story of Chiadzwa is still unfolding. It is a story of pain and loss, but also of courage and resilience. It is a story that continues to inspire, to challenge, and to remind us of the power of hope. But it's also a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, a reminder that even in the face of despair, there is always hope for a brighter tomorrow.